धेरैजना मान्छेहरूको प्रश्न मास्टर्स बाई रिसर्चमा युकेमा डिपेन्डेन्ट ल्याउन मिल्छ कि मिल्दैन हो एक्ज्याक्टली मजाले मिल्छ। र दोस्रो प्रश्न मास्टर्स बाई रिसर्च कोर्स पढ्न कतिको गाह्रो हुन्छ त हो। यसको लागि चाहिँ एउटा फाइनल थेसिसको प्रेजेन्टेसन चाहिँ दिनुपर्छ जुन थर्ड मोड्युलमा पर्छ। अगाडिको फर्स्ट सेकेन्ड त एकदमै इजी भइहाल्यो। त्यसको प्रेजेन्टेसन कसरी दिनुपर्छ के हुन्छ भनेर मेरो आफ्नै जुन मैले फाइनल प्रेजेन्टेसन थेसिसको दिएको थिएँ त्यो जस्ताको त्यस्तै अलिकति प्राइभेसीले गर्दा ब्लर गरेर राखिदिएको छु। एकचोटि हेर्नु होला कस्तो लाग्छ। जो सजिलै लाग्छ सजिलै हुन्छ, अलिकति थोरै तयारी चाहिँ गर्नुपर्छ त्यो फाइनलको बेलामा। त्यो चाहिँ जस्ताको त्यस्तै हेर्नु होला भन्दै लेट्स सी द भिडियो गाइज।
Welcome to your Viva.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got 20 minutes to present, okay? And just to let you know, this session is recorded. It's consistent with university policy, okay? So that the second marker can have a look and the external examiner, if need be, can also have a look, okay? Because one person doesn't just, assess and grade any assessment, okay? So, all right. So you've got 20 minutes to do your presentation, and then we'll discuss your presentation, and of course I'll ask questions, okay? So please share your slide, okay? And you start.
All right.
Okay. So yes, go on. Good luck, okay?
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon, my respected supervisor. My name is Uday Luitel. I am a student at York Shenzhen University, and I'm here to present the presentation of my thesis topic, that is the impact of artificial intelligence on consumer banking experiences in Nepal. So now let's talk about introduction part of my thesis. So different AI services like chatbot, automated services, fraud detection, and personalized banking services that are reshaping the banking activities and shifting the customer bank interaction from the human-led model to technology-mediated model. So in context of Nepal, AI adoption has increased due to increase in smartphone usage, digital banking expansion, and the demand for convenience as well. But however, the concern regarding trust, data privacy, and transparency still remains. Therefore, this study explores how AI impact on consumer banking experiences in Nepal. So this is all about background and context regarding introduction part. Likewise, let's talk about focus and rationale regarding introduction part. So the most of the existing literature from the developed economies so that AI improve consumer satisfaction and banking efficiency. However, the studies in developing countries like Nepal is limited and still under research. So the customer face a lot of challenges in Nepalese bank due to security issue and no human interaction as well as the lack of trust. So this study aimed to fulfill this gap by conducting an empirical study based on primary data. Primary data, it means through the questionnaire survey which is collected from Nepalese banking customers. So this study has significantly examined how AI adoption influence consumer satisfaction, trust, and overall banking experiences in Nepal. So this slide shows the overall research gap, including the focus and rationale. So let's move to the next slide. This talking about the research aim, research objective, and research question. Let's first talk about research aim. The main aim of the study is to analyze the impact of AI on consumer banking experiences in Nepal, and based on my research aim, it includes three major objectives. My first objective is to quantify the customer attitude and perception of AI technology in banking using a structured survey. And likewise, my second research objective is to analyze the correlation between AI adoption and consumer satisfaction, trust, and overall experience with banking services. And likewise, the third one is to investigate how demographic variable, that is age, income, education, and technological factors, that is digital literacy and mobile banking awareness, influence AI adoption in banking sector. So this is all about research objectives. And talking about research question, is my research question or as per my research objective. It means my first research question meet my first research objectives and so on. So my first research question is what are the Nepalese customer attitude towards AI enabled banking services, and likewise the second one is what is the relationship between AI adoption and consumer satisfaction and trust in banking sector reported by customers, and likewise the third research question is how do demographic and technological factors influence the acceptance and usage of AI technology by banking customers. So let's move to the next slide. This is the literature review part. Means these are the key findings from the literature review. So through the literature review, we come to know that AI adoption in banking helps to improve accuracy, efficiency, and better customer services while reducing the operational cost. And likewise, AI enabled 24/7 banking services and fast service delivery, which positively affect on consumer satisfaction. But talking about security and trust, trust remains as a major concern as it shows lack of human interaction is a complex banking services that reduce the consumer trust. So likewise, demographic and technological factor play a key role as younger, educated, and digitally literate customers are more likely to use AI-based banking services. So this is all about the findings from literature review part. Uh, Talking about the theoretical framework, TAM, which stands for Technology Acceptance Model, is a primary theoretical framework which is supported by UTAUT. Means my primary theoretical framework is a TAM and supportive theory is UTAUT, which stands for Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use of Technology. As this theory helps to explain my overall research objectives. According to TAM, it includes two factors, which is perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use, whereas perceived usefulness influence on AI adoption and perceived ease of use affect the acceptance, and that is TAM significantly influence on AI adoption in banking. So this theory is highly relevant for understanding AI adoption in banking. Likewise, UTAUT further support the analysis by different factors, that is performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, and facilitating condition, which directly helps to explain the consumer satisfaction and trust as well. Likewise, this theory perfectly fit with demographic and technological context of Nepal. So these theories are highly relevant for analyzing AI adoption in Nepalese banking. Let's talk about conceptual framework. Conceptual framework shows the relationship between dependent and independent variable, whereas dependent variable is consumer banking experience and independent variable is AI adoption, demographic factors, and technological factors. And talking about consumer banking experience, which is talking about consumer banking experience. Consumer banking experience, which means the overall banking experience with customers, and it is measured through satisfaction, trust, convenience, and service quality. And AI adoption includes chatbot, automated loan processing, personalized financial advice, fraud detection and alerts, and likewise demographic factors, that is age, income, education, and technological factors, that is mobile digital banking, digital literacy, and mobile banking awareness, which impact on consumer banking experiences in Nepal. So this examine the influence of AI on consumer banking experiences in Nepal based on dependent variable, that is consumer banking experience, and three independent variable, that is AI adoption, demographic, and technological factors. So this study examined how AI adoption in Nepalese bank affect the consumer banking experiences with demographic and technological factors influencing the consumer satisfaction and trust. So talking about the methodology part of my thesis, now let's talk about methodology part. As this study follow a positivist research philosophy which focus on research, objective measurement, and statistical analysis of quantitative data, and deductive research approach is used on my thesis, which is based on TAM. And talking about research design, quantitative cross-sectional survey design is used as instead of longitudinal research design. It is due to limited time. And primary data is collected through online structured questionnaire using a Likert scale, and the sample of 100 Nepalese banking customers were selected using the stratified random sampling, and data were analyzed using frequency distribution, correlation, and regression analysis, which is very useful for analyzing the quantitative data. And ethical considerations such as informed consent, anonymous responses, and data confidentiality were strictly followed. This is all about methodology part of my thesis. Now let's move to next slide. Findings. Now let's talk about findings from frequency distribution analysis. Is findings can be obtained. I got findings from different statistical tools like frequency distribution, correlation analysis, and regression analysis. Now let's first talk about the findings from frequency distribution. And talking about demographic profile, the majority of respondents were from 30 to 39 years with balanced gender participation. And in terms of usage of AI banking services, the most used AI banking services are automated loan processing and personalized financial advice, while the use of chatbot is very low, and it shows 74% of total respondents are satisfied with overall banking experience, but trust in AI system is relatively low. And talking about digital literacy and AI adoption, it shows limited digital literacy and security concern reduce the customer willingness to adopt AI banking services. So this is all findings from the frequency distribution. And let's move to the next slide. Now let's talk about correlation analysis. These are the findings from the correlation analysis. Is the correlation of 0.578, which shows there is positive correlation between AI adoption and consumer banking experience, and likewise demographic factors shows a moderate positive relationship with consumer banking experience, and there is a strong correlation between AI adoption and demographic and technological factors. So the overall correlation table shows that there is a strong positive correlation between AI adoption and demographic and technological factors. And let's analyze the findings through regression analysis. Let's talk about regression analysis through model summary first, and then through the ANOVA result later on next slide. So let's first talk about model summary. The model summary shows the regression of 0.597, which indicates a strong positive correlation between independent variable that is AI adoption, demographic and technological factors, and or dependent variable that is consumer banking experience. So the result of R squared, that is 0.357, shows that AI adoption, demographic and technological factor explain 35.7% of the variation in consumer banking experience. So it also shows that this model fit for after adjusting the number of predators, that is independent variables. So the overall result confirmed that AI adoption, demographic and technological factors have significantly influenced on consumer banking experiences. So now let's talk about regression analysis through ANOVA result. Talking about ANOVA result, the p-value is 0.000, which is less than 0.05, which shows there is strong statistical significance, and face value is significantly high, which confirm that regression model is valid. And the overall ANOVA result shows that the regression model is statistically significant, and independent variables significantly influence on consumer banking experiences in Nepal. So it shows that as we see the F value, which is 17.741, which is significantly high. So the overall ANOVA result shows that the regression model is statistically significant. And talking about the discussion of finding, the finding aligned strongly with TAM and UTAUT theories. Is is the consumer adoption of AI enabled. The banking services in Nepal is highly influenced by perceived usefulness, ease of use, and the positive attitude towards technology. And UTI play a major role as a demographic factor that is such as age, income, education that has directly influence on AI adoption in banking sector. So we can say that the finding align with TAM and UTI theories. And yeah, the consumer satisfaction is relatively high, but the trust remains as a major problem. Trust remains as lower due to security and privacy issue and demographic factor that is age, income, education that highly influence on AI adoption. So the overall finding highlight the importance of hybrid banking model, which include AI adoption with human interaction. So this is all about the discussion part. Now let's talk about conclusion. Part of my thesis. So the overall study confirmed that AI adoption has positive effect on consumer banking experiences in Nepal. Although the level of consumer satisfaction is high, but the trust in AI system is lower. It is due to security and privacy issue in context of Nepal. Yeah, and the demographic and technological factor that highly influence on AI adoption. As younger and educated customers prefer to use AI services. So this is all about the conclusion part. Now let's talk about implication part of my thesis. As it shows, implication part shows how this research is used for improvements. Yeah? So the bank should use AI transparency and provide digital literacy training for customers so that it helps to increase the number of banking customers and increase the consumer satisfaction and trust. And hybrid AI human service model is implemented by bank to build trust and improve security. Likewise, building a strong data protection policies helps to solve the trust issue as well as cover the overall three objectives of my research. So let's talk about a limitation and future scope of work. As this study is limited by its small sample size and a cross-sectional research design, and likewise, this research is highly reliant on the survey data, yeah, which may create a bias in the responses. So these are all the limitation, and so the future research should include longitudinal research design to determine changes in consumer satisfaction and trust. And it is suggested to conduct further research in least developed economies or least developed countries like Nepal. This is all about limitation and future scope of work. And here, yeah, these are the reference which I used for my thesis. Thank you. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you for your time and attention. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Udaya, for your presentation. Well done. Okay, all right. So let's start from the beginning. Start with the previous, yes. So it is good that you had a useful, you don't number literature review, you just just tell us, because even these key findings, you didn't tell us which findings, where it was, who's finding nowadays, when was it, and all that, so we needed to see in-test citation, especially in this part, so that's one area that I wanted to talk to you about. So, but beyond this, there was a useful discussion of the, go forward, there was a useful discussion of the theoretical framework. Next slide. There was useful discussion of theoretical framework and of course the conceptual framework, which is also good. And when you move further to your methodology section, go to methodology, I could see that your methodology was well explained and your sample size was 100, or is 100, which is relatively small. So I was just wondering, because you didn't talk about the sampling technique used, but I can see from this work that you use stratified sampling. So I was just wondering, why stratified sampling? Why did you use that?
All right, yeah. I chose stratified random sampling. It is because talking about my research objective is the number of banking customers are from different age group with a different education level. So that stratified random sampling helps to cover the overall demographic factors. So I chose stratified random sampling to cover all my research objective as well as to get a better result, so that I can cover all age group and different literate and illiterate that the customers, banking customers, so that I choose stratified random sampling.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think you pretty much cover most of the sections I would have asked questions on to you. So
Yeah.
I would have asked the questions on. So that is quite useful. Just wondering, what is the most important finding from this study?
Yeah, the most important finding from this study is that, like, first, we know that most of the existing literature study about the developed countries, which shows that the data that the customer are more satisfied, and even the customer feel more trust towards banking services. But in context of Nepal, there is limited empirical research based on developing countries like Nepal. So the satisfaction is higher, but the trust remains lower. It is due to security and privacy issue. It is due to that the customers are unaware, means they do not get any the training program or digital knowledge. That's why we find the customer are satisfied, but the trust remains as major issue due to security and privacy issue. This one is the most important findings we learn from research. And likewise, like the capability of thinking critically, these are other things that I found from this research.
Okay, thank you very much. So what is the most important skill you think you've gotten from conducting this study? What skill did you, the most important?
The critical thinking skill and the focusing about the methodology part makes clear of our whole thesis. These are the things that I learned from here in UK. But before I was in Nepal, like, it was not that much talked in detail about the methodology part. But when I come here and you as a supervisor guide me and talking and give us feedback clearly with comments, it helps us to grow and thinking like critically, and helps to know and helps to source article through different sites like DeepSeek, Google Scholar. These are the things I learned from this study. Yeah.
Good. Well done. Okay. Well done. Congratulations on your study and presentation. And yes, you've done pretty well. So well done. And just have a good day. We are
Nice.
you hear from me. I'm gonna write a feedback on this and of course evaluate it. And of course the second marker is gonna also have a look, and then of course before we arrive at a score. So we will get back to you on this. But well done. Very informative and insightful presentation. Okay. Well done.
Yes.
So I'm gonna stop recording for a minute. So okay, so I've stopped recording now.
सो मैले प्रेजेन्टेसन दिइसके पछाडि सुपरभाइजरले चाहिँ 5-7वटा क्वेसन चाहिँ मलाई सोधेको थियो। मैले डिटेलली एन्सर पनि दिएको थिएँ। त्यसमा 2-3वटा प्रश्नको एन्सर त यही छ। अरू 2-3वटा चाहिँ प्राइभेसी रिजनले गर्दा मैले सबै कुरा राख्न नै मिलेन नि त, पछि युनिभर्सिटीले केही गर्ला यताउति भन्ने समस्या, त्यो पनि ख्याल गर्नु पर्यो। अनि अर्को कुरा, मैले चाहिँ युनिभर्सिटी सकेर रिजल्ट आइसकेको पनि 6-7 महिना भइसकेको छ। युनिभर्सिटी अफिसियली कम्प्लिट भएर म चाहिँ अहिले PSW भिजामा छु। सो कस्तो लाग्छ के अब क्युरियोसिटी यता आम न त युकेमा मास्टर्स बाई रिसर्चमा डिपेन्डेन्ट लिएर सँगै आम भन्नेहरूको लागि अलिकति केही इन्फर्मेटिभ हुनसक्छ भन्दै नेपालको जति पनि ब्याङ्किङ फिल्डमा लाग्नु भएको अलिकति म्यानेजरियल लेभलको पोजिसनको हुनुहुन्छ उहाँहरूलाई पनि अलिकति इन्फर्मेटिभ हुनसक्छ किन भन्दा यो मैले गरेको थेसिस चाहिँ इम्प्याक्ट अफ आर्टिफिसियल इन्टेलिजेन्स अन कन्ज्युमर ब्याङ्किङ एक्सपिरियन्सेस इन नेपाल आफ्नै देश नेपालको बारेमा गरेको छु युकेमा भएर पनि सो हेर्नु होला अलिकति नलेज केही अब राम्रो लाग्छ भने लिनु होला केही टुक्रा पार्टहरू होइन भने ठिकै छ भन्दै सी यु इन नेक्स्ट ब्लग बाई बाई थ्याङ्क यू सो मच फर वाचिङ